Hello Autodesk people, my name is William Spear and I'm an MEP Technical Specialist with Autodesk and I'm based in the central United States. The video you're about to see is LEED credits for plumbing using Revit MEP. Alright, so before we begin, let's discuss why this video is important to you. Of the 69 LEED credits that are available, 10 of them relate in some way to water. In other words, of all the LEED credits available, USGBC has weighted 15% of them to water, and the reason for that is simply fresh water is expensive to make. So with that said, if you're not exploiting the capabilities and functionality of Revit MEP for LEED credits for plumbing, you're passing up some very valuable, yet also very easily claimed LEED credits. Let's see how easy it is. This is the Revit environment, and here we're looking at a typical plumbing layout. We have 3 lavatories, 3 urinals, and 2 toilets. And an easy way to get some LEED credits for this obviously would be to put in some low flush fixtures or maybe even no flush fixtures like waterless urinals. But in this case I want to focus on gray water. Here we have 3 lavatories that are flowing out right now to black water. So in order to fix that, what we need to do is we need to do some remodeling. But what we're going to do is building information modeling, BIM. We have a B for building, and we have I for information and M for modeling. So we're obviously going to do some modeling, but I also want to show how we're going to manage some of that information and how Revit does that for us. So if we come up to our system browser and take a look, right now we can see that the system browser is tracking sanitary waste system for us, and below we see we have the different fixtures that are listed here. Plus we also have that information available to us in the form of a system schedule. So again, here we see that we've got domestic or default domestic hot and cold water and sanitary plus sanitary waste. 4 systems. Remember that we have 4 systems. And we also are tracking other things like flow and volume and so forth. Now in order for us to get credit for our design, we can have the best design in the world, but we're still not going to get any LEED credit for it unless we can document that information. So let's do that now. If I come over to my sheets and select a new one, all I have to do to get that information onto that sheet is simply drag the schedule right onto the sheet, place it, and voila! I now have that information placed onto my schedule, or placed onto my sheet. And again, I have the same 4 systems here, and keep track of that. We have 4 systems, and this is already on my sheet. Now I'm not going to have to worry about it anymore. This is the beauty of Revit. It's going to track this information for me as our design expands. So we'll come back to that sheet in a little bit. For now, let's close it. Alright, so we're back to our design. Let's get the modeling taken care of. So let's delete the piping that we're on here. I'm going to need a new riser, so let's take care of that as well. Here's an existing riser. Let's just copy that riser and relocate it. And because we're working in Revit, which stands for Revise Instantly, I know I'm going to need a 2-inch riser there, so I just simply set it back to 2 inches, and that's done. And then finally, what I want is to put in some new plumbing. So under my plumbing tab, I'm going to pick my piping tool and do just that. Once I select on the outlet from the lavatory, I just hit my spacebar to make sure it adopts the same elevation, pipe type, and so forth. Double check that my slope is correct, and it's sloping downhill. And then start laying in this piping. And as I lay in this piping, you'll notice that I'm getting some dashed line work here. What Revit is really saying is it's saying, hey, I see some of this other equipment in the project. Would you like me to connect to this? Well, I don't want that one. Let's move a little further. There's the one I do want. And stop my piping about this point. Now the reason I'm doing this is because, well, I've got Revit working for me, so I'm going to be lazy and let it do the rest of the routing for me. So simply select on the 2 pipes I want, and when I do, I get this Routing Solutions tool up here. And when I select that, Revit's going to go through and find some of the best solutions it can for that piping. And here it's found 5 of 5, and this is the one I want. So we'll finish, and I've now done the modeling portion of this design. I've now rerouted these lavatories from the black water they were on to the gray water. Now we have to manage some more of that information. So what I'm going to do now is pick on one of the labs and edit the system that it's on. It's on a sanitary waste system, and I need to get that off the sanitary waste system. So I'm going to remove it. And as I select these, you can see that they're graying out. That's what I want. So I'll finish with that, and then I'm going to go right back to those labs and put them on the new system. So here the new system is going to be called graywater. And then I want to add to these systems. I want to pick up the other two lavs here and connect to their drains. Say OK, and finish that. Now I've actually managed that information. If you want to double check, let's go back to our system browser and double check. And lo and behold, what do we have right here? Graywater. So that information is being tracked for me, and it's picked up those 3 lavatories. So now, if I want to, all I have left is, if I'd like to make this visually appealing, in other words, I want to make sure that people can see where this piping is right away, all I have to do is apply a filter. So let's add a new filter in here. Create a new one. We'll call it graywater. Say OK. And then I'm going to need to put some categories on my graywater system. So I want pipe accessories, pipe fittings, pipes, and pipe systems. And then up here I simply need to make sure I put it on system name that contains graywater. Then I've added my graywater into the filters, and all I need to do now is override it with some pretty color. Make sure it fills in. Say OK. And look at that. Now I have something that actually is visually identifiable as a graywater system. And now you can tell all your friends you've actually seen green plumbing design. Get it? Green? Oh well. At any rate, what's important here is we've done the modeling. We've also got the information tracked as we saw in our system browser. But what happened in our documentation? Let's go back and check our sheet here. And when we open our sheet and zoom up close, we see, do we have 4 systems any longer? No, we now have our 5th system, graywater, tracked for us. That's the value of Revit. No information is lost. Everything's internally consistent and coordinated. I didn't have to go back to this schedule. I didn't even have to open this document for that to be populated. Revit did the work for me. So we've looked at a building, and we've done some information management, and we've done some modeling, and in the course of a couple of minutes, we've added a graywater system to what was just a regular plumbing system, and thereby get some LEED credits for it. I hope you found this helpful and now realize how easy it is to pick up LEED credits for plumbing using Revit MEP. Thanks for joining us. So in summary, let's remember 3 things. First of all, we no longer need to let those valuable LEED credits for water or plumbing slip away. They're easy to design for and to document, which in turn increases our value to our clients. Second, building information modeling is more than just modeling. It's managing that information as well. And we've seen how easily and accurately Revit tracks that information. And last but not least, if we'd like credit for our LEED designs, we need to be able to document that information. And Revit MEP makes it very easy to document. It's as easy as dragging and dropping a schedule onto our title block. So on behalf of Autodesk, my name is William Spear, and the video you just saw was LEED credits for plumbing using Revit MEP.